one. Welcome to Strong Personalities. Today I am interviewing Panda Anne. Panda, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad our audio finally worked. It only took us 3
know, right?
Nice. Slight exaggeration, maybe, but that's okay. So we're what? Okay, at this time next week, you will be in day
Finishing two. Well, day two, starting day two, right? Is today Friday or Saturday? Today's Saturday. Yeah. So I'll probably be finishing day two. So as a lightweight woman, depending on how the days go. So we'll see.
What are your goals for the first 2 days?
So day one is a huge question mark for me. I mean, if anybody that's listening right now has followed me since the beginning 7 years ago, everyone knows overhead press is not my strong suit. I did come in and I did hit a couple reps on the 175 log last year, which was a huge question mark at the time because of my back injury. I couldn't even clean anything over 160 in prep. So it was super huge to come in and hit some reps on that. But so the big day one is just come in and splatter myself all over that floor and leave nothing for question whether I could do another rep or not, because I know everything I can give is going to be necessary with the stacked class this year. So
but you're used to stacked classes because like we met in person finally at Clash, and you're going against some of the same competitors. So for you, what's the biggest difference since I saw you at the Clash earlier this year to next week?
My biggest difference between May and OSG in November is the rest and recovery in between. So Clash in May was the end of a 7-month comp cycle for me. So last November, OSG was comp number 1. And then December, I didn't really do much, but then January, I had the online qual for Clash. And then February, I had the Nashville Clash to qualify for the American deadlift pull for Hilton Head. And then March, I had Arnold Amateur. April, I had Clash in Hilton Head to attempt the American deadlift record. And then May, I had Clash U64. So I was at the end of my rope in May, and I feel a lot better now. So I feel like I'm going to be coming in a different athlete. I think if people expect the same performance that they saw at Clash, I'm going to turn some heads instead. So that's the plan in any case.
So are you looking at making day 3?
That's the plan. I ended up in 4th going into day 3 last year. So I would love to be top 10. I mean, if I end up in 10th going into day 3, I'll be super happy with the class that we've got this year. So
is getting rest, was that your biggest obstacle leading up to OSG?
Yeah, and recover. So at Arnold, I got a huge bicep injury. So then I had 2 more competitions. So from between Arnold and Clash, it was Band-Aid, 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 Band-Aid. Tyler and I just kept making sure I was going to just be one whole athlete when I arrived to Clash U64. Since then, I've been doing a lot of recovery. I found an amazing chiropractor down here in South Carolina after the move, and we've been working diligently for the last 5 weeks. So
Hey, recovery. I feel like you really represent pandas, because I feel like every video I see of Panda is them just tumbling and like falling from things, but they just get up and just keep moving. So yep, that is definitely you. And by the way, yeah, one of my stickers is the sticker you flashed. It takes a lot to make this jar.
Yes.
All right. So when it comes to OSG, how do you prepare mentally?
So it's really hard this year because I'm a part of the Full Send Sports predictions podcast. So usually
Yeah.
I hole up and I avoid looking at anybody else's training because what they're capable of doing doesn't change what I'm capable of doing. At a
Right.
world's level show, if you're playing strategy, I feel like that's just a bad strategy. You just got to go out and give it your best and know that you didn't leave anything out there. Because if you walk away knowing that you could have done another rep or you could have gotten a little faster, then you're in your head way too much. So my biggest thing is just mentality. Like I just got to know, like I am capable. I might not be as statically strong as some of the ladies in my class, but I am capable of sticking around with them and being competitive. So it's just holding up and closing my eyes and trying not to get in my head about just because they can push press 20 to 30 pounds more than me doesn't mean that we can't rep out 175 together. So
Very true. So do you prefer moving events versus static events?
yeah, typically. So I've been an athlete since I was 3. So I've been playing basketball since I was little. And then from basketball, it went to volleyball, cross country, track. I did hurdles and track. So I'm 5'1". And for me to do hurdles competitively, so running, if anything is fast, I love it. So
So, okay,
that
so
was the
you're definitely more for like the explosive moving events.
or deadlift for reps. Like if this deadlift was actually on a deadlift bar, I would be much happier.
Really?
Yeah, I love deadlift for reps. So at USS Nationals in 2021, it was 315 for reps and touch and go was allowed. And I pulled 15 reps in like 32 seconds. And I would just love it if it was on a deadlift bar. But Axel and I are not besties. So we'll see how it goes.
Um, what got you into strongman? Like, what's the origin story there?
So Christina Bangma, she is a fellow U64 competitor. She's going to be at OSG. She is the 2017 champ. She and I met about 10, 11 years ago, maybe 12 years ago now, at a rock concert in Indianapolis, Indiana, through mutual friends. And we were both actually runners at the time. And that's kind of how we connected. And then she met her now boyfriend, Aaron Snyder, who has been a competitive strongman since he was like 14, I believe. And he's a few years older than I am. So he's been on the scene for a very long time. And he got her into strongman, and it took her about 3 years to convince me, 3, 4 years to convince me. And once she got me to walk in the gym with her and try it out, I deadlift 225 for the first time ever. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I had no idea what that even meant at the time. I'm like, cool. I
Is
don't know,
that
but
high
it felt
score? Is that high score, guys? What does high score mean?
I know, it's like, is this great? Okay, cool. And everyone was just amazed that I had never deadlifted before and I pulled 225. So after that, it was just I was in love. And just going in, I got with her immediately with programming. And I mean, until recently, I was with her this whole entire time and things were going really, really great. And I almost left Strongman. Things were getting really weird for me. It almost started feeling like a job. And so I just kind of wanted to change things up a little bit. And I think Tyler was the right move for me. He has a little bit of a different aspect when it comes to his coaching. And I think it was just what I needed for me to continue moving forward with the sport. So it's like no bad blood, but not everybody has the same coach forever, I guess. But
Yeah,
she is definitely the origin story. Without her, I wouldn't even be sitting here chatting with you right now. So
that's awesome. So big thank you to her for that. And I definitely agree that you sometimes do have to change the training system from the training system that got you into the sport. Because or else it does become a job. You start getting injured. It starts beating you down physically and mentally. And yeah, and that's the last thing I want to see from people when they get into strongman, just getting burnt out because they're not making the necessary changes. And I think
right.
coaching changes are the hardest ones to make when you've been with somebody for as long as you were. So definitely. What are the origin stories for Panda? Where did that nickname come from?
Panda actually started shortly after high school. So long story short, I ended up in a local mental institution. And I had tried to take my own life.
Oh
I laugh
no.
about it now, but it's been like
Yeah.
it's like half my life ago at this time, at this point. So, and I was in there for I think 2 weeks. And at the time, there was a guy in there about the same age as me, and we could have visitors daily. And his little sister would come in and see him almost every day. So the three of us would go outside on walks, or we would play card games together, and this, that, and the other. And then one day she brought in, like, like the little calendar pictures. Like, so she
Yeah.
brought me in a picture of a panda, and she's like, I just want you to have this because it made me think of you. And I'm like,
Oh.
why? And she's like, well, it's a panda, but it's like small, like you, but it's cute and cuddly, but it's still a bear. It could still
Yes.
rip your face off. And I'm like,
Were you like accurate?
fair enough.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how that kind of started. And then, I mean, no one really called me Panda until Strongman. So pandas were just kind of like a thing, like my spirit animal is what I called it for the longest time. And then getting into Strongman was about 9 years after that. So I got a belt made by a friend, and he put Panda on it and a bunch of Panda stuff on it. And after that, I changed my Instagram handle to Panda Small But Swole, and 6 years later, here we are.
Yeah. Do you get Panda more often now versus your
Yeah.
actual name?
If people call me by my first name, they've either known me for a very long time or their family. So, I mean, even my boyfriend calls me Panda. I don't even like, we're not even like, I'm not even on a first name basis with myself anymore. My Facebook isn't even Christine anymore. So it's like almost like my Sasha Fierce to my Beyonce.
Yeah, I was about to say it almost sounds like that little girl planted the seed for like who you're going to transform into at that time. So in these last, what was it, 9 years now? It's been 9 years or 6 years
Since I started Strongman, or just since then?
since when you first got called Panda.
16 years now.
16
So
years, sorry.
yeah,
So yeah,
I'm older than I look.
How old are you?
I just turned 33. So
Oh, you're not old. Because if you're old, that means
older.
I'm old. Because that means I'm old. We're not old. Heck no, we take care of ourselves for the most, as much as you can, being competitive in a string sport. But yeah, that's really cool. I like the fact that was she planted the seed for. Do you feel like you do represent a panda, like that fits you?
Yeah, and as you just stated, like with the videos, like, so my new belt that I got made by Belt Fed Strength, it's got clumsy little pandas tumbling all over it. So it's like, because if anybody knows me, I am literally the clumsiest person, most accident prone person you will ever meet. I don't know how I have not detrimentally injured myself on accident in this sport. Like when I first started, there were 2 incidents. Christina was training for the first Pro Women's Worlds. And so I decided to jump in and do some event training with her that day. So this is like me, I'm like 8 months into Strongman. It was a frame carry, 50 feet down, do 1 full revolution on a Conan's wheel, and then run 50 feet back with the frame. So you're jumping in and out of this frame, picking up a Conan's wheel, running it. And then, so I'm like doing really good. I did my first leg, I did the full Conan's wheel, and I jumped back into the frame, and I'm going, and all of a sudden my ankle's just like, nope. And so I flop over and I somersault across the turf over this frame. And I was like, this is me. This is just who I am. So I think that might be why I love making fun of Tyler and his Cerberus sandbag fails so much, because I feel that in my soul.
I feel that in my soul. What event have you not been able to do at a competition yet, but you would love to?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Dun, dun, dun.
I compete so much, it's stupid. Let me think here.
It's not stupid, it's ambitious.
It is.
No negative talk like that.
I would love to do like a single fingers ladder like they did at Clash 105. So it was like or like at America's Strongest Man last year with the 105s, they did the ascending single fingers. So it's like 3 single fingers and it got heavier as it went. And it was just for time instead of running back and forth and doing for reps.
Is that
I think that
the stone thingy?
no, it's like so
What that
like
is.
the tube on the lever. So you clean it
Yes.
and you
Yes.
press it and you walk with it. So I would love to do like an ascending single fingers where it gets heavier as you go. And then you'd only have to flop it over once instead of like, so I did the Ronnie in 2020, which is when I met Hannah Cold Iron, and we had to do the running back and forth. And I'm like, not only
Too
is
much
it,
cardio.
it's killing my shoulders, it also is killing my legs. So yeah, I would love to just go boop, 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 and
Yes.
make it true overhead. So
Yeah, I was at a competition and I literally almost signed up that morning because they were asking like if anybody wanted to jump in, they could. I almost signed up just so I could do that event. So 100% agreed. You said that you've competed a lot. How many competitions total have you done?
over 40, I'm sure. I've been in, so January would be the beginning of year 7, and I'm sure my first 3-ish years I've competed like 10-ish times a year. Like, no.
When you jump in, you jump in. Okay.
I just love it. I love this sport so much. Like I haven't gotten my pro card in Strongman Corporation. Like I just missed getting it a couple years ago. And at this point, I'm afraid of getting it because I don't want to go up a weight class, but I want to keep competing in 140 locally. But so it's like I'm at this bridge. Like I have my pro card in USS as a 132, but I'm no longer doing 132. So it's like I feel good there. But it's like I'm afraid. I'm afraid to like take that one extra step. I mean, I don't know. I might not even be capable of getting my pro card now. The class is so wild. So
Okay, so that kind of brings in a new question. How much has the sport grown in this almost 7 years now that you've been in it?
so it's like a blink of an eye. Like the last 2 years have just it's been a struggle just to keep up. Like I feel like I was so in 2018, I volunteered at OSG. The last year it was in North Carolina. And I think the heaviest overhead press for OSG for the lightweight women was 150. And then I jumped in to my first OSG and we had to do 175 for reps. That was just a 1 rep through a medley. It was like, I think it was a 140 axle, a 150 log, and like a 120 keg, and like a 100-pound circuit or a 90-pound circus dumbbell or something like that in the medley. And I'm like, that was heavy then, and that is still heavy now.
Yes.
But it's like these ladies need to calm down. No, I love to see it. Like knowing that most of the women that are coming into OSG next weekend can push 180 to 240-ish range for a 1 rep max is just completely amazing to me because 4 years ago, I think the record was 145 in the lightweight class.
And you're repping out 165 at OSG for the Viking press.
Yeah. So it's like this sport, not only is the class, like this is the largest women's OSG for all the classes. And so not only is the sport growing in number, it's also growing in strength. So it's like, oh, not only do I have 30 more competitors, I have to be 40 pounds stronger. And like 405 was the 1 rep max in lightweight deadlifts like 5 years ago, I think. And now it's like, oh, we're hitting 380 for reps on an axle. But which I love deadlift, so it's okay.
30. Yeah, you're going against 36 competitors right now.
Yeah.
And that's right. Well, and this is just on paper because we've started to see some competitors have to pull out for different reasons, injuries, financial. Speaking of financial, like how do you manage all those companies financially? How often do you have to travel for those?
So the last 2 years it's been more travel than not. When I first was getting started, Christine and Aaron were running about 4 shows a year. So I would do pretty much all 4 of those. And then there was another in about 40 minutes from where I grew up, there was another town where they would have like a local strongman show every year that I would end up doing that called at the Marshmallow Festival. Super cool name.
That
So
sounds amazing.
yeah. And I would do that one. And then so nationals was really the biggest cost for me for the first couple of years. So I would end up going with friends or splitting costs with hotel rooms and things like
Mark.
that.
Yep.
Driving back then wasn't $3 a gallon or
Yeah,
more.
that's definitely
um,
kicked it up a little bit.
so as things have kind of shifted to where I travel more for shows, I've picked up, honestly, I've gotten so lucky with Revise, with Chris and Randy, with Belt Fed, with now Rhiannon is going to be helping me out with Kaos clothing, anything that I help out with she gave me a code. So if anybody uses my code there, not only does it help her company grow, it helps me grow as an athlete, that she can either, get me swag, get me stuff, or if I need help, I can reach out. Rhiannon has been a huge help for me the last year. Like I just met her. It feels like I've known her my whole life. Like we met last year officially, and it's just been awesome. And then
Hey,
Sarah, oh, go ahead.
real quick. Did she tell you the mix up me and her had at the Clash?
No.
I asked her if she was from what was it? Kratos. I thought that was the name of the city. I didn't realize it was the gym. So every time I announced her coming up, I said that she was from Kratos, England. And then
Oh no.
somebody was like, "Oh no, that's her gym." And I was like, "Well, I started with that. I'm sticking with that because it sounds a lot cooler." But I'm sorry.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead. You were talking about
No.
with Sarah?
Sarah McLean, she had started a company called Go Hard Labs, and they've been helping me massively. Like anything that I need, she is willing to be there for me. Not only is she a sponsor, she's a really good friend of mine. So, got big things coming, honestly. So if you're already a huge Go Hard Labs fan, wait till February because some ish is about to drop. Just saying, I'm gonna squeeze that in there.
what since you've been in the sport a little bit longer, you've kind of grown with some of these companies, and that's helped with the sponsorship deals that you have, right? What do you recommend
Yeah.
athletes nowadays to get their name out there, to get that sponsorship?
Relationships are important. Not just making relationships to advance yourself, but making real relationships. Like that's another reason why I compete so much and I've done so much. It's almost like marketing myself, not only as an athlete, but as a person. Like I can post whatever I want on social media, but I don't want a company to just like what I post on social media. I want a company to like me for me. So
Yeah.
like I didn't I met Spence down at Top Tier at the Clash at the Corral there that they had at the um that Top Tier Strength, the first show that Cody Tier put on. So long story short, I got a really bad car accident, totaled my car, almost died. I ended up borrowing a car, drove to St. Louis, Missouri, that same it's like 12 hours has gone by. And I meet up with Chelsea Pullen, and this is only like 3 months after I had met her. And this is our first time hanging out ever. And I just drove over there. That's a 12-hour drive. And we drove to Texas together that night. So, and that's how I ended up meeting Spence. And it was just like, if you don't take opportunities for when they present themselves, like volunteer at shows, go talk to people that you appreciate what their company does, not only as a company, but as the owner. Like make real relationships with people. You can't just get lucky, especially if you're a novice athlete or if you're just coming up in the ranks. Like huge companies like SBD, if they see you, you're going to be a phenomenal athlete. Like if you want like a big sponsorship like that, if no, you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to pave a path for yourself to get there. So relationships, I think, are the biggest key to maintaining or getting any type of true sponsorship that is going to mean something and move with you as you grow. So that is why I chose smaller companies, because I love getting to know the people behind the company, and I'm still growing. I don't feel like I'm done in this sport yet. So if I can bring a company along with me, or a company can bring me along with them as we grow together, that means way more to me than just jumping on and getting with a company who might have already be well established and could give me more money. So I'd rather grow with a company, or help grow a company, than just accept a sponsorship that maybe they could shell out thousands of dollars to me every year. So it all depends on the athlete and what they want from a sponsor. But really, I want relationships. And if I believe in what you believe in, I think we can all do well together. So
What have been some of your, I don't want to say this word, but I'm going to say it, favorite relationship that you've developed because of Strongman? So many. Here,
I
I'll
have to choose one.
no, you don't have to choose one, because there's different like relationships that you build, right? Because there's some that become more friendship, some that become more professional, some that become where they're a mentor. There's some that you're the mentor for that person. So just give me some of the relationship dynamics that you've developed in Strongman. Maybe
So
that'll
it's
be
really so besides the relationships that I still have currently that I grew up with, which is very small, um, pretty much all of my core relationships in my life are all because of the sport of strongman. So, like my boyfriend, we've been together now for almost 5 years. We actually met on Tinder, but my profile, like my main picture was me doing a 175-pound Atlas stone load over like a 52-inch bar. So like I was like, this is me, this is my sport, this is what I do for fun. And if you can't handle that, just swipe left. Like just go. And Adam's main picture was him standing next to Jerry Pritchett. So it was like, oh, he knows
yeah, he knows.
him and he knows this sport. Hello, sir. So that's been a huge thing, and he's been so supportive of me. So I'm very happy. Like honestly feel like we didn't meet at a comp, but if it wouldn't have been for Strongman, we wouldn't have had that initial connection. And then my best friend, Crystal Kish, she was also brought into the realm by Christina Bangma. She doesn't compete as often as I do. So she does it more as a hobby because she's also a volunteer firefighter and an EMT. So she's got a busy life outside of that. And she's got a kid that I don't have any of those. So, and she's got so much, she pours herself into the community quite a bit that we grew up in. So, but if it wouldn't have been for Christina and the sport, I wouldn't have met Crystal. And also I feel like everybody that I am sponsored by is a little weird like me. So I am super grateful for those types of relationships. Like not only can I message Spence or Chris or Randy or Sarah in business manner, I can also be like, okay, this is what happened today and I know you want to hear about it. So
Spill the tea.
yeah, so it's like I'm really grateful for pretty much every single relationship that I know I can count on is basically strongman oriented. Like I already mentioned, like I've only met Rhiannon last year. We didn't even really talk at OSG. She actually messaged me as I was driving to the airport, and after that, we just pretty much talk daily now at this point. And then we competed at Clash together, and it's just been a really awesome relationship that is new that I'm appreciative of. I honestly don't see myself moving forward in the sport without her being by my side, whether it's physically or just emotionally and mentally. She lets me reach out and chat and vice versa. So
So I have a question from some of your followers. The first one is, why is Spence the best thing that has ever happened to you?
read my shirt. Get a grip. No. Honestly, so he helped me behind the scenes so much at Clash. He picked me up from the airport. He and Angela both. Angelina, I always get say it so bad. I'm sorry. If things aren't in front of me, I say them totally wrong. I'm like Will Ferrell. If it's on the teleprompter, I will say it. But like, and so like even brought the baby with, and I felt so bad, but it's like my life in the trajectory that it's been heading. I am so thankful that he honestly has been a part of it. Like I said, it's not only just a business relationship, like they've both been there for me as just a human. So it's been pretty nice to be able to have him there, whether he was being sarcastic or not for that. I imagine that question was coming after my snarled remark for his episode. So
yeah. The second I texted him, I was like, hey, I'm interviewing Panda. And like less than 30 seconds, he was replying with that question. Who is your favorite sponsor and why is it Revise? That's also from
Oh man. So
no pressure. You only named like 6 other sponsors during the interview, so no pressure.
So I don't have a favorite sponsor.
I love them all the same.
But I do enjoy having Revise in my corner, even without knowing Spence. If I was just the company in general, the fact that it's just so open to finally being that first company that gives quality product at a cost that is affordable. Like when you first join the sport, you know how hard it is to just acquire random objects. Like you think random objects, I should be able to just get them randomly. But no, now everything's so streamlined. You've got sandbags, and then you've got grip shirts that are allowed in any type of variety. And then now that we've dropped our first round of strength equipment, like the supportive gear, it's all affordable. Like when I first started, I got the weirdest stuff to start. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this sport for a long time. I'm not going to invest $90 on knee sleeves. I'm not going to invest $120 on a soft belt that might get used, for like a weekend just because I'm doing this competition and everybody else has it. That's the thing. When you first join the sport and you start scrolling through Instagram or you're scrolling through Facebook and you're like, oh, this athlete has this piece of equipment and this athlete has this piece of equipment. I need to have all of that. So for Revise to have it where it's more affordable and where we don't have to like break the bank essentially to get these pieces of equipment that we deem necessary because we see the pros have them or the people that are doing well in this sport with all of them. Like you don't see one pro athlete without a whole range of sandbags in their gym. So for Spence to have dropped that, like make that the first drop after the grip shirts, I think that was super awesome. And the fact that when he has the time and he's capable of doing anything custom, like the grip shirts that he just did for that competition for the comp tee, just where like the logo here was custom and grippy. I thought that was the coolest thing. So when he has time, he always puts in the effort, but when he has extra time, he puts in that extra effort. And that is what I appreciate. And honestly, a lot of my sponsors are like that. And I think heart is where a lot of people miss on manufacturing in this community. So
and the great thing about those custom shirts that he does is like he has to know you for those to come out the way you want them to. Like my custom shirt, the Yanni Bear shirt, oh my gosh, the second I saw it, I was like, you like me, man. You really like me.
You know me. You love me.
I know he's busy right now getting ready for next weekend's American Hero Classic. So I'm sure we'll have like a couple, like somebody's phone, just making sure that we can watch you at the same time. Let's see, with the last 5 minutes here, Sticks and Stone wants to know, when are you moving to Texas so you can make it better?
I literally told Adam, I was like, okay, South Carolina's great, but if we ever get the option, can we like get a second house in Texas? I feel like it's home. Like if I ever get to the point financially to where I can have a house in Texas, I will have a house in Texas. I'm not sure where, but so when I first visit Texas, I was 13 years old. We had family reunion down in San Antonio. So I have family down there in the San Antonio, New Braunfels area. They actually own a brewery. So if you're interested, hit me up. I can send you that way.
Okay.
Um, and we went through the San Antonio River Walk. We went and did all the touristy things. But as a 13-year-old, I felt complete. I was like, this is it. This is where I want to be. And then when I finally did my first show down there, I was like, that feeling's still the same. And it's been like 15 years. So
Slowly
I
working your way there. That's what
yeah. Yeah, I went over this way a little bit, but we'll come back.
it's like you're making your you're doing your side quest before you finish the story, the main
Yes.
storyline. So here we got 3 more minutes. Where can people find you?
What do you mean?
Oh, like on social media or
Oh, my Instagram is
you're like, I'm not giving my address out.
find me. I'm in South Carolina. Good luck, I guess. I don't even know the area. So
Love that. What do you mean? Where can they find me? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
my Instagram handle is panda, normal spelling, underscore small but swole. So it's SMOLSWOLE. So, well, with but in there. So SMOL, panda small but swole.
Don't worry.
I'm sure if you, yeah, just put it in there. Like,
I'll put it over there. There we go.
I never won a spelling bee, so there you go. Like Travis Ortmeyer says, it's strong man, not smart man.
No, you have to be smart to be in strongman because, like, as technical like as you have to be, and as smart as you have to be to do training correctly so you don't get injured, you have to be smart. You can't just The days of just being like muscling through events. That's
For
gone.
sure.
Definitely gone. Panda, thank you so much for jumping on here. I wish you nothing but the best next weekend.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see you kill it in day 3 because you will make it into day 3. You'll make some noise. I'm excited to see that. And then I will tell Spence that he's not your favorite. I'll say it in person too.
Yeah, make sure you get a picture, like record it for me and send it to me.
Yeah, you know what? I'm emceeing the American Hero Classic, so I'll make sure to get that to him. But anyways, again, thank you so much. Thank you for being patient with the audio part, and then continue to get some rest because you've got some big things coming up next weekend.
Huge things coming. So I appreciate you having me on. So it was awesome.
All right, bye, Panda.
See ya.
Do, 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 do.